Hi, I'm Marcus from Marcus Language Academy, and today I like to talk about the use of the past tense in the German language. In my course we use the past tense from the very first lesson because it's simply used in every real-life conversation. To see my whole course for beginners, just click on the first link in the description. So let's get started. We have two main past tenses in German. One is called Preteritum and the other one is called Perfect. In contrast to English, there is no difference in the meaning between both. Preteritum is used in the written language, especially in newspapers and books, and also with the auxiliary verbs like sein, haben and the modal verbs in the spoken language. All other verbs in general use perfect in the spoken language. To distinguish both forms well from each other, we use the color again. Our background color for the preteritum is black and for the perfect is gray. Okay, so let's take a look first at preteritum in detail. So let's start with a regular verb lernen, to learn. The first person singular is like this. Ich lernte. Ich lernte Deutsch. I learned German. And as you can see, the background in the picture is black. And there is a TE attached to the root of the verb. Next, the second person singular. Du lerntest. Du lerntest Deutsch. You learned German. And here is an additional ending, st. And the third person singular is like this. Er lernte. Er lernte Deutsch. He learned German. Interestingly, it's the same conjugation as in the first person. And the plural is conjugated like this. Wir lernten. Wir lernten Deutsch. We learned German. Ihr lerntet. Ihr lerntet Deutsch. You all learned German. Sie lernten. Sie lernten Deutsch. They learned German. Okay. Irregular verbs behave a little different. As an example, let's take sprechen, to speak. And the conjugation is like this. Ich sprach. Ich sprach Deutsch. I spoke German. And the little red dot in the picture reminds us that the verb is irregular. And there is no TE attached here. Only the root of the verb changes. Okay, so let's see the rest. Du sprachst. Du sprachst Deutsch. You spoke German. Er sprach. Er sprach Deutsch. He spoke German. Wir sprachen. Wir sprachen Deutsch. We spoke German. Ihr spracht. Ihr spracht Deutsch. You all spoke German. Sie sprachen. Sie sprachen Deutsch. They spoke German. As said before, the verb sein mostly uses the preteritum, even in the spoken language. And here again, sein is very, very irregular and is conjugated like this. Ich war. Ich war Leo. I was Leo. Du warst. Du warst Leo. You were Leo. Er war. Er war Leo. He was Leo. Wir waren. Wir waren Leo und Lina. We were Leo and Lina. Ihr wart. Ihr wart Leo und Lina. You all were Leo and Lina. And sie waren. Sie waren Leo und Lina. They were Leo and Lina. Okay. Also the verb haben mostly uses the preteritum in spoken language. So let's see. Ich hatte. Ich hatte ein Auto. I had a car. Interestingly, it uses te even though it's irregular. But that's really an exception. But let's see the rest. Du hattest ein Auto. You had a car. Er hatte ein Auto. He had a car. Wir hatten ein Auto. We had a car. Ihr hattet ein Auto. You all had a car. And sie hatten ein Auto. They had a car. Okay, so now let's look at the perfect in detail. Remember that almost all verbs in spoken language take the perfect. First again, a regular verb, lernen, to learn. But for the perfect, we need an auxiliary verb. That is usually the verb haben. The first person singular is then conjugated like this. Ich habe gelernt. It is simply the conjugation of haben and the participle of the verb. The participle is formed with the prefix ge, and the root of the verb plus the ending t. Our example sentence here is Ich habe Deutsch gelernt. Literally that means I have German learned. You can see that the auxiliary verb is in position 2 and the participle is at the end of the sentence, and the gray background color reminds us of the use of the perfect. The second person singular is like this. Du hast gelernt. Du hast Deutsch gelernt. You have German learned. Here only the auxiliary verb changes and the participle does not change. And so it goes on. Er hat gelernt. Er hat Deutsch gelernt. He has German learned. Wir haben gelernt. Wir haben Deutsch gelernt. We have German learned. Ihr habt gelernt. Ihr habt Deutsch gelernt. You all have German learned. Sie haben gelernt. Sie haben Deutsch gelernt. They have German learned. Okay, that's a regular verb. Let's look at another verb, schlafen, to sleep. Here, the first person singular is the following. Ich habe geschlafen. Ich habe im Bett geschlafen. I have in the bed slept. There are some verbs that have en as the ending in the participle. And the rest is as usual. But there are also irregular verbs again, like sprechen, to speak. And here the first person singular is the following. Ich habe gesprochen. Ich habe Deutsch gesprochen. I have German spoken. Here the verb stem, the root of the verb, changes. Therefore, again, the red dot in the picture. And normally the ending is almost always en. And the rest is as usual. But let's look at another verb. Fahren, to drive. This verb, to our surprise, uses the auxiliary verb sein. And the first person singular is the following. Ich bin gefahren. Ich bin Auto gefahren. I have car driven. Sounds a little bit weird, but okay. So here we use the auxiliary verb sein for displacement or change of state. And the AB symbol is to remind us of this. And almost all the participle here end in en. So the rest is like this. Du bist gefahren. Du bist Auto gefahren. You have car driven. Er ist gefahren. Er ist Auto gefahren. He has car driven. Wir sind gefahren. Wir sind Auto gefahren. We have car driven. Ihr seid gefahren. Ihr seid Auto gefahren. You all have car driven. Sie sind gefahren, sie sind Auto gefahren, they have car driven. Okay. But there are also irregular verbs again, like fliegen, to fly. Here the first person singular is the following. Ich bin geflogen. Ich bin nach Berlin geflogen. I have to Berlin flown. And the rest is again as usual. So remember that we have just two main past tenses forms in German. And in contrast to English, there is no difference in the meaning. So preteritum is used for the written language and perfect is used for the spoken language. I hope you enjoyed my video and that you don't miss anything. Please subscribe to my channel and activate the bell. I'm Marcus from Marcus Language Academy and thank you very much for watching.